there's so many more channels to choose from than ever before. How do you work to figure out which channels are best for your clients?
Yeah. Well, there are so many ways, and part of it is metrics and analytics. We're constantly using platforms to see where something appeared, the tone, whether people felt it was positive, neutral, or negative, the volume. We use height, width, and depth to measure how something runs these days. Height would just be the sheer volume of coverage that it gets. Depth would be, did people actually engage with that? And width is, did they share it across their own network? And by using analytics that allow us to measure that through all forms of social metrics, we can show a client which ones reached the right target audiences, which ones were a waste of time, which ones actually got people to engage, like write their own story about it, write a whole paragraph in a text and send it to someone. Those are becoming the more important measures of the success of something instead of just mass impressions.
Okay, so is this how you measure all your campaigns and the success of the campaigns that you've created?
Well, we really measure them in outputs, outcomes, and business results. So outputs would be some of what I've just described. We know the message got out. We know 22 million people saw it. We know who they are, but that doesn't answer the question, what change did it bring about? And change for our clients runs everything from buying a product, choosing to apply to work at a company, choosing to invest in a company, choosing to vote on an issue. Those are many different forms of the change that we're helping our clients to bring about. And so you move from just outputs, millions saw this, to outcomes. What did they do? Now that requires primary research, increasingly easy online. Take, for example, we work for a couple of car companies. If you are putting out a piece of content online about an amazing driving experience, you can now see what they call click-through rates. You can see that that person said yes when they said, would you like to learn more about this? Would you like to enter your zip code? Would you like to register to receive information from a dealer? And would you like to go to the dealership? And then you can track that that piece of content led to actually going to a showroom and buying the car. So that's an outcome and a business result too. And increasingly we're pushing ourselves to make sure that we follow the entire stream, not just stop at look at all the impressions we created. There was a cult of personality within the business then that had quite a layer of hubris to it. The big ad agency on Madison Avenue told the client what was good for them. And it's a much more balanced playing field now. Think about it through the lens of who has the information. An ad agency in the 60s, 70s, and maybe 80s invested so much of their clients' money on research and learning. And knowledge is power. So when they went to the client and said, this is the right thing to do, they were actually in the powerful seat of knowing more than the client about that. But if you then move fast forward to the likes of Walmart and other super retailers and now Amazon, think about the data and insight they have into purchase behavior. Think about how much they know down to the minute and down to the psychographics and demographics of who's going to buy that product. It's a shift in the vast amounts of information and therefore power. So there has to be a more shared relationship. And we were part of an ad agency for a long time, but I think there's always been a little bit more humility in the PR side of things, never having had those giant budgets and millions of dollars worth of research, that we listen to our clients more and listen to journalists too.